Wow. Been coming here for 10 years, and I always find a piece of me in the testimonies that are shared. Thank you, Michael, Ken, thank you, brothers. I want to share this piece that I wrote this week, actually today. So it'd be nice. But I want to give you a little bit of context. As I'm writing about peace and being a peacemaker and what that means, I had to go through the seasons of my life when it was hard for me to even fathom being a peacemaker or having peace. And the interesting thing is those seasons were not too long ago. So I'm writing this, and this journey is me wrestling with being a peacemaker and finally surrendering it all and allowing God to form that in me. Just in case there's someone who's sitting in here today that's wondering, how do I get there? I'm not there yet. Well, I want you to understand it's a journey. I'm not sure I fit the shoes of a peacemaker. I'm too familiar with the blues of being a peace taker. But blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. But how do I become a peacemaker in the midst of turmoil? The indwelling presence of the Spirit of God is the substance of a peacemaker, and conflict is the context. Reconciliation is the telos of the kingdom conquest. A peacemaker deconstructs that which divides and reconstructs that which provides a sacred place, a safe space to be different and yet connected by a Christocentric ideology where male, female, young, old, black, white, and every shade in between be reconciled to the Father and to each other. Therefore, take up the whole armor of God, having put on the breastplate of righteousness, and as shoes for your feet, having put on the readiness given by the gospel of peace. But I wasn't always sure the shoes of the good news would fit. My feet swelled from walking the rugged terrain of some filthy locations where I'm responsible for sinful provocations, and I'm reminded of the persistent temptations influencing every profane thought and wayward eye gaze. I'm not making peace unless the peace within me is remade. I was born into intergenerational trauma. The pages of my own family history was a scripted drama written with the pen of racial injustice, but the Monday morning quarterback in me reflects on the trials God had entrusted with me. I don't know if these shoes fit, these shoes branded with the gospel of peace, because there's not much peace within. After seeing images of black bodies on the streets that recall Billie Holiday's strange fruit hanging from southern trees, there's no peace within when I have to consider whether the hand on the trigger is black, white, or blue with a badge or a do-rag. But as long as the body count of those that look like me continues to rise, I'm a bit anxious and frustrated and tired. America is the Israel trying to be set free from the Egypt that is racism, gang violence, corruption, fatherlessness, poverty, abortion, methamphetamine. I mean, there's no freedom until we reach Canaan. And Canaan is the promised land of a new humanity that only Jesus makes possible. But right now, the wilderness is quite hostile. But I'm called to be a peacemaker. But there's not much peace within me. When I see red states and blue states and politicians exchange vitriol to induce hate, all for the sake of political ideology, and some commit forgery and even put God's name on it. There's no peace within me when the church has chosen to dig a hole and bury its prophetic voice in it, like the man with one talent in the parable. But the hope of the world should be adaptable and vocal enough to speak to any form of evil attempting to steal our collective peace. But I'm called to be a peacemaker, not a peace taker. One who speaks to the storm with the power of the sun, saying, "Peace, be still, O you of little faith." Won't his peace prevail if you avail yourself to be instrumental? Therefore, my peace would not be incidental, but intentional, providential. For such a time as this, I am called to be a peacemaker, to engage conflict, to resist the enemy, that spiritual convict, since God has made peace with me and within me. I became a peacemaker because the chaos and tension around me was draining. And I was tired of pretending to be a son of God. And when conflict came to my front door and entered my home without my permission, but my flesh begged for permission to respond, and God said, "No, now I can produce a peacemaker out of you." A peace taker holds forgiveness. A peacemaker releases the debt that's owed. A peace taker exacts revenge. A peacemaker can take the blows. A peace taker has narcissistic tendencies. A peacemaker gives of himself. A peace taker divides the room. A peacemaker prepares for the bridegroom. So I've been called to be a peacemaker.